Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you are new here. I am Martina Lily and today we are putting to the test the new Victoria Beckham eye wardrobe. I picked up the shade Victoria. It was calling my name. I love this brand, so anytime they have a new release, chances are I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to be testing it. You know, I've done swatches for you guys. I'm going to do a look. So hopefully that all sounds interesting to you. And if it does, go ahead and do the YouTubey things like subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's get into it. You are zoomed in nice and close, 4K, no filters. Everything I use on my face today will be linked in the description box down below. They are affiliate links though, so if you shop through them, thank you so much. I will also have timestamps in the description box in case you only want to see certain parts. So Victoria Beckham has reformulated her eyeshadows, and she previously had the eye bricks, she called them. She had different color stories in them. I actually had 2 color stories of the eye bricks in my collection. This one is tweed, just FYI. I also had the gold one, but I have since decluttered that. But I do have a whole Victoria Beckham playlist on my channel, and I've done a few full Victoria Beckham full face reviews and stuff. So if you want to see like the older formula and my thoughts on that, that will be linked in the description box as well. But now she has re-released them. She's now calling them eye wardrobes, and they're in a slightly thicker compact to the original. So let me show you. This one is the original, this one is the new one. So you can see they're slightly thicker. I'll be honest, I cannot remember, but I don't believe this was refillable, the original ones, whereas the new ones are refillable, which is why I'm assuming they're a little bit thicker. They still have the same heft to them. Like if you've ever picked anything up with Victoria Beckham, her packaging is so hefty and gorgeous and luxe. Like she has some of my favorite packaging out of all the makeup brands. It's stunning. And when you do purchase an eye wardrobe for the first time, if you don't just purchase a refill, so you can purchase the compact with refill together, or you can purchase just a refill. But I obviously purchased the compact with refill because it's my first time picking it up. You do get them in the 2 separate boxes, so you get a box with the case and then a box with the refill. And just for reference, the refill will come in this kind of clear packaging. So these little eye wardrobes are refillable, so if you use the shades up, you can just repurchase the refill. You don't have to purchase the compact again, or if you wanted to, you could pick up different colors and save some money and just keep them in this and then interchange them in the compact. And then when you open up the compact, so this is the color story Victoria. I did pick up the Victoria shade if I didn't say that, sorry. You can see that they are removable, so you can just flick that out there and change it or refill it if you need to. So I have done swatches and I'll show you this untouched shortly, but that is the shade. And then on the back it actually has nothing because you may have different shades in there and stuff like that. The compact with the refill or the eyeshadow palette with it is 124 Australian dollars or 75 US dollars. And then the refill, so just like if you were to purchase the single eyeshadows without the compact, they're 84 Australian dollars or 50 USD. And then obviously depending on your currency, it's going to depend from there. The eyeshadows also have a 24-month expiry and are made in Italy. And I'm going to give you the quick details of this new formula, and then we'll go into swatches because I know that's what you want to see. So it says Victoria's famous eye for color is at peak perfection in the eye wardrobes. The ultimate eyeshadow palette delivers exquisite performance in buttery smooth powder formulas and luxurious finishes. So hyper perfected shade quartets. So there are 4 shades in that she has currently released in the eye wardrobes. So depending on what your preference is. Now it says it's a buttery and blendable formula, so decadent creamy textures infused with naturally derived ingredients and ultra fine pigments, buildable, silky, and easy to blend with no fallout. We shall see. So long wear, cruelty-free, vegan, silicone-free, soy-free, gluten-free, dermatologist tested, safe for sensitive skin, non-comedogenic. So yeah, it says it's a new creamy powder, ultra smooth long wear powders with exquisite payoff and blendability. We shall see how it performs. When I swatched the mattes compared to the mattes in the original eye bricks, these are definitely feeling a lot more creamy and a lot more buttery. And I didn't dislike this formula, but it was just fine to me. It was nothing stand out. I do really like a creamy buttery formula, I won't lie. And this one was just a bit powdery. It just was nothing special. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't exceptional, if you will. So I'm very, very intrigued to see how this one performs. I have done the swatches for you guys where I do it on the arm and then the individual shade swatches as well. I have also just compared this metallic shade right here as well in a screenshot against the cream eyeshadow that she has. What are these actually called? A lid luster, sorry, in the shade Mink, because when I swatched that shade, it really reminded me quite a lot of Mink. So I just swatched them and put a screenshot in just in case you are interested in the difference between those, or you have Mink, and that means maybe you'd pick up a different eye wardrobe if the mattes aren't the sole draw to that Victoria color scheme for you. So yeah, I have done that for you. Hopefully that's helpful. Now let's swipe into the swatches and then we will do a look. Let's get started on a look. I'm going to prime my lids first with my Sigma eye primer. This is my fave eye primer in my collection at the moment, so I want to use one that I know and trust for a new formula. I'm going to start with a Rephr 16. I'm pretty confident I can use all 4 of these shades, so let's go into this one right here. Mine might look a little bit hard panned. It's not because of the formula, it's because when I do the arm swatches and then the individual swatches, when I have to like remove the eyeshadow in between the different swatches and stuff, it can do it. Like that's when it will create too much of, you know what I mean. It's me, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's pick this up. It does have a little bit of kick up there. That doesn't bother me, but that might bother you, so just keep that in mind. I do like this transition shade. This is a very me transition shade, so I hope it performs well. I did pick this color story up more so because of the matte shades, to be honest, than the metallic even. The metallic's pretty, don't get me wrong, but these mattes just really called my name. I'm a sucker for a good neutral type matte. So let me start by buffing this into the outer corner. I'm not going to do anything groundbreaking in terms of like application wise, just a kind of usual shape there. I don't know why that's a bit darker there. Interesting. Let's pop some on the outer corner here as well. I mean, it performed nicely. It's kind of like clung here, I think, to like the eye primer. I'm guessing that maybe something in the formula's reacted to it a little bit, I think. So let me blend this side out. But like, this is the eye primer that I use with all shadows, you know, so I've never really had that happen before. Let's see what happens with this eye. Maybe it's just the first application, it concentrated the pigment, but it blended nicely. Or maybe it's just the concentration of the pigment, like when you first apply it, because this is a tapered blending brush, because it's done on this side as well. The primer would have dried a bit more on this side by now. Oh no, it must, yeah. I think it's, I don't know you guys. I'm not mad at it because it's kind of like created its own sense of a crease shadow for me in my hooded eyes, but just keep that in mind, I guess. Like maybe make sure your eye primer's fully set maybe. But it doesn't look bad at all, don't get me wrong. It really doesn't. I like this shade, pretty shade. Very, very pretty. Now I'm going to pick up this Spectrum KJH number 17 brush and let's go into this brown. And again, we'll just build this up a little bit on the outer corner here, just a little. Oh, that's pretty. I like that brown. Build here. Yeah, that's a pretty brown. Definitely more pigmented than you anticipate though, so start slow and build. It's just that Rephr 16 with a little bit more of that initial transition color to just softly blend. Nice. Okay, let me do this one. Yeah, these are quite pigmented mattes, so I would start small with pigment and build. Less is more. Nice. I'm just gonna finesse this side a little bit more. I have two very different shaped eyes, which can be frustrating because they the shapes and the blending always looks very different to each other. Now I'm going to take a Shodo 00 from Rephr and I'm going to go into this black. And I do like that this black is almost like a grey black, like a charcoal black. I really like that. It's not a straight black. So I'm actually not going to apply a lot of this, I'll be honest, just a teensy bit because I don't want it to be too dark. These Shodo brushes, by the way, for applying like deep colors quite strategically and precisely are brilliant. Really a great set, the Shodo brushes from Rephr to have, especially if you have hooded eyes, I find anyway. Like normal, when we are testing an eyeshadow palette for the first time, I'll use intensifiers on this eye and no intensifiers on this eye. It does say you can use these shadows on her website as well. I should say wet and dry for reference. So let's pop that on. The one thing I will say is this metallic formula feels quite thick and dense. Yeah, that's exactly, I don't have anything else to add. It feels very thick and dense. So it does make me a little bit nervous. It's not normally my favorite type of metallic formula for my lids. So I'm going to be interested how it goes on, to be honest. But I'm going to use my Bisciotto flat brush, which is just a very, very thin, naturally, it's not, there we go, very, very thin brush, like flat brush, for example, instead of say something a bit thicker like your Rephr 2, sorry, just because this is going to apply a thicker formula a little bit smoother, I think. Okay, so no intensifiers on this eye, and I'm just going to pat. I'm just going to leave the inner portion of my lid free of color, and I will put something else on there, which I know is not from the palette, but I don't want my eyes to be too dark. They can make me look sick because I'm so pale. So I just need something in the inner corner to brighten. Okay, well that went on beautifully. I do have just a little bit of fallout and I did tap my brush off the excess. So I don't think I agree with the fallout free formula, but I do think that that shade is beautiful and applied beautifully. And I will say it doesn't apply how it feels. You know how I was saying it feels thick and dense? It doesn't apply that way, which is lovely. And I think this would look completely fine on textured or mature lids, and it doesn't feel thick and heavy on the lids. So for example, when I tried the Melt Cosmetics metallic formula in like the Gemini palette, or like the Vive metallic formula, they were thick, dense formulas for me, and they went on thick and dense on the eyes, and I did not like the way that they made my eyelids look. Like, I don't have textured lids, and they made them look textured, and they just felt heavy on my lids, whereas this, I will say, doesn't feel that way. I should also say I bought this with my own money. This is not sponsored or anything like that. Victoria Beckham will every now and then send me some PR, but it's not like a consistent thing. I'm not like on a PR list or anything, and I've never been sponsored. I'm not opposed to it because I love the brand, but this is all very much my own honest opinion, just FYI. Okay, so this is the intensifier side, same steps. honestly, they've applied pretty much the same. If anything, applying it without the intensifiers allows a little bit more of that sparkle to come through, whereas this seems to make it more of a wet look. But let me just, there we go. So if you just lay the initial color down and then just kind of lightly tap on top again, you get that sparkle back, which is what I'm vibing. We all know I love a sparkle. It's actually quite pretty, isn't it? I really like that. If you have the mink pot too, like the lid luster, you could either put this on as a base and pop this on, like tap it on over the top, or you put this shadow on and then even tap the mink lid luster over the top, because I don't know if you could tell from the swatches, the mink lid luster is slightly lighter and has a little bit more speck to it, so it might just add a little extra night sky to the shade, if you will. But yeah, I'm impressed. I actually like that a lot more. I really was anticipating when I swatched this to not like that metallic formula from the feel of it, but it doesn't feel that way on the lids and hasn't applied that way, so that's very pretty. Happy days. And just to lighten a little bit on the inner corner here, like I said, I've just got Peach Glamour here from Tom Ford. This is their new Tom Ford cream quads, which I already have a review of this on my channel. It'll be the video before this one. I'm just going to take the light shade, the light gold shade from here. So this is a Spectrum Cross KJH 12 brush, like little flat brush. I'm just going to pop just a touch just to lighten slightly for me. Otherwise it really will make me look like I'm about to die of being tired or sick all day. So I just need to lighten in here a little bit. That's probably just a personal preference thing, to be honest. But I will say that shade adds a nice little something something there, doesn't it? You obviously could skip this completely if you wanted to. This is just extra my personal preference. I don't think I agree with the no fallout claim, but that could also be user error maybe. I promise you, I did tap my brush off. I never put it in the video because I know sometimes that tapping can be annoying to people, but I did, but we'll see. While we're here, let's just put some of my black Victoria Satin Kajal on my top waterline. Which, as you know, the Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal eyeliners are my holy grail eyeliner. I have every single shade, I love them. Okay. What I'm going to do now is the speed through of my base makeup. I'll use any Victoria Beckham complexion product, or rest of the products that I have of hers I will use on my face as well, and then anything I don't have VB or she doesn't have in the collection, I'll use something else, and they'll be in the description box. But I'll do up until bronzer, and then I'll do brows off camera like normal if you've seen these videos, and then we'll come back, finish the eyes, and we'll do highlight, cheeks and lips together. So let's do it. Up until brows and bronzer are on, and I did use for reference the Victoria Beckham brow gels and brow pencil for my brows. I love the brow pencil. The brow gels are just not for me. My brow hairs are too strong for these brow gels, and so like I don't know if you can already tell they're already falling down. So yeah, if you don't have strong brow hairs, you'll probably like those, but yeah, unfortunately for mine, they don't do much. I'm going to just pop some of the brightener in my lower waterline before I finish the lower lash line. I've just got a Sigma E36 and I'll go into a little bit of this one and run that underneath the lower lash line. And then a little Spectrum 21 brush, and I'll go into just the dark brown. I don't like my lower lash line to be too dark, to be honest. Just a little smudge. There we go. For the inner corner, I'm just going to take a little bit of the highlighter from the Chanel Jardin Golden Peach Blush and Highlight Duo, because the little eye wardrobe doesn't really have an inner corner shade for me. Perfect. And then I did actually get in PR recently another Vast Lash from Victoria Beckham, and full transparency, I really like the black Future Lash from Victoria Beckham, one of my favorite mascaras. I didn't love this one, but I'm gonna try this because it's a new one. Maybe it was the formula I got. Let's see how this goes, because originally when I tried this it flaked on me, so this will be the absolute test on whether or not I got a bad one or it's just the formula is not for me. Well, it hasn't flaked on application yet, which is a good sign, because I mean, this is the first time opening it. Give it a couple of days to thicken up. But last time I had this, even just applying it, it would flake. So we shall, I'll keep you in the loop. I think those eyes have come out looking really pretty. That's a very me look. What do you guys think? That was very easy to create. Okay, let's do highlight. I'm gonna take some of my Taffy Topaz from Fenty Beauty. Just pop some here. I do not super duper love the Reflect, I think it's called, highlighter stick from Victoria Beckham. It was a bit too sticky for me, but I have got a video where I've used it on my channel before. And then I'll just set it with a little bit of that same highlighter from the Chanel Jardin Quad. This is an AA01 brush from Rephr. It's actually my favorite highlighter brush. It's really nice. Perfect. Cream blush. I love the Victoria Beckham cream blushes, as you know if you've been around here. Playground is one of my all-time faves. I said all the time, I actually wore this on my wedding day. This was my blush shade. I don't know why that's not focusing, sorry. But I'm actually going to mix Playground and Knickers together. So I just will literally scribble Playground and then some of Knickers over the top, just to create my ideal shade. I don't want anything too peachy. Like Knickers is going to be a little bit too peachy for me on its own, and Playground a little bit too deep. This is an A507 from BK Beauty. So I quite often will mix those two when I want something that's like a more muted peach. I like them individually as well, I like to mix and match shades, to be honest, like custom make them. And I just love her blushes so much. Such a good formula. Look at that, just a stunning formula. You can build this up to be more pigmented as well if you wanted to, but that's perfect for me. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the peach shade from this Chanel blush. I'll just take it on this is actually a Rephr limited edition brush from a couple of years ago. It's kind of like the Rephr 5. The only thing I will say about these is I love the formula, but it's really hard to get a blush brush into here. Fenty setting spray. For lips, I'm taking the Victoria Beckham Lip Definer in the shade 1. Which is honestly just a very kind of almost match to my lips, but with a slight brown tint. And then my favorite girl from Victoria Beckham, which was also the lipstick I wore on my wedding day. Is it not absolutely beautiful, this shade? Stunning. Okay, let me go do hair and stuff. We'll zoom out and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, my friends, finished look. What do you think? I really like how this look has turned out. I really do. This side might not look as nice. This is a me problem. On this side, I did not do as good of a job. But overall, I like how these performed. I think they are really beautiful. I absolutely think this is a step up on the old formula. Definitely more creamy feeling, definitely easily blended, or just a nicer blend, I would even say. And I think the metallic is absolutely, it's quite lovely. I will say, while I do think this is a step above the previous formula, this is still not on par for me personally, just keep in mind my personal opinion, my personal preference, but this is still not on par for me with, like, say, the YSL quads, even the Tom Ford New Creme quads, the Clé de Peau quads, those kinds of formulas. Like, they're just this extra level of creaminess and just impeccableness to use on the eyes. However, I do think that, well, not so much in the YSL, but these mattes have a lot more pigment to them, and even this metallic has a lot more pigment to them than maybe some of those formulas. It's just, I think this is nice, but for me, those other quads I mentioned are still like a more of a standout to me. But I do think this is nice. Like, I don't regret picking it up. I do really like the shades, and I like that even though these three matte shades are brown, they do have these slight different tones to them that are actually unique in my collection, and I do really like that. I think if you're a beginner to shadow, you might want to tread a little bit carefully. These are quite pigmented, so you really do want to use less is more and just start very soft and build. I would be interested to get some thoughts if, like, you don't feel comfortable using eyeshadow and you've got one of these, like how you have felt about using these. Maybe that's just my perception, but I probably didn't find these as foolproof to use as, say, like your YSL quads, for example. But I do think it's a nice formula. I'm just not saying like it's a run, don't walk or anything. Do you know what I mean? But maybe this is exactly what you're looking for. Maybe this formula is your dream formula, or maybe just Victoria Beckham is your brand and like that step up in formula. And this is still lovely, don't get me wrong, it's still a lovely formula. I'm not saying it's bad in any way, but maybe that's completely fine to you. Maybe the color story is exactly what you're looking for, you know? So everyone's value of a dollar is different, everyone's preferences are different, so keep that in mind. This is just my opinion. I don't foresee myself running out to pick up any more shades or anything like that. I think this is a nice one to have in my collection. These matte shades in particular are a nice kind of unique add, and I like having this metallic shade, especially to work with my lid luster and mink. I think that's really lovely. But yeah, I think this is just one, like, if this is really speaking to you, I do think it's lovely, but I'm not like yeah, this is a must have in my personal opinion. But let me know your thoughts. Have you picked them up? What are you thinking in terms of them? And if you've played with them yet, just let me know. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on these. So that is everything. If you made it this far, you know you're an absolute legend. Thank you so, so much. Extra special shout out to my Lily, absolute legend, and all my channel members here. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you more than you know. And I hope you have the most amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.